I just found out my girlfriend is homeless. Yesterday morning, I went to go out for a walk around the city and noticed a girl that looked familiar standing in a line at a homeless shelter. I took a double glance and saw a hoodie that was mine, and then recognized my girlfriend, Kat. I was pretty shocked by seeing her there, but didn't approach her because I didn't want to embarrass her or anything. So for background info, I met Kat in February at a Dunkin's. I started making small talk with her when I saw we were both wearing the same Dodgers hat. I offered to pay for her drink after shooting the shit for a minute in line and got to know her when she asked if I wanted to sit down with her. As we were finishing up our drink, I asked her out on a date, and she accepted. As the last couple of months went by, things were going great with us. I learned that she was working 2 jobs, wanted to go to college, was a devout Catholic. She invited me to attend Mass. I'm not Catholic, but went out of respect. Yet I noticed that she never brought up her family except when she mentioned her dad, who was a Marine that passed away when she was a kid. Fast forward to the present, and I ended up sending a good morning text inside the Dunkin's as I was looking to see if it was really her. Like clockwork, she pulled out her phone and told me that she was at her apartment, and that she was cooking breakfast. It was really surprising for me because I always dropped her off at a nice apartment building whenever a date was over, but I guess she did that to give off the appearance that she wasn't homeless. Now, I want to talk to Kat about her situation. She's kind of a social introvert, to put it lightly. If she truly is homeless, I want to offer Kat to stay at my place. The only problem is that I don't want to come off like she owes me or anything like that. I also want to respect her Catholic faith because she told me that she wants to wait to give up her virginity after I originally invited her over to my place before I knew she was homeless. The Catholics aren't fond of unmarried cohabitation either. Thoughts on how I can navigate this? Edit. I forgot to mention that Kat has an older sedan. I know that I'm making a lot of assumptions, but I'm guessing that she lives inside her car because she doesn't carry a backpack around her all the time, and she wears a nice dress and flats when she goes to Mass. The other clothing she wears is sort of just casual. Think your typical Converse, skinny jeans, and overcoat. Nothing too fancy or too dingy. Update. I ended up meeting Kat at the local park we usually walk through after she got off work earlier today, since it's out in the open, yet still private enough to have a serious conversation. I told Kat that I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable or ashamed, but that I saw her at a line at a homeless shelter yesterday and wanted to talk to her if there was anything up or if she needed help. Kat immediately began to cry and showed her nervous tics, fidgeting around, wrinkling her nose, etc. She began stuttering on her words, and I consoled her until she began to gather herself again. I told Kat that she didn't have to feel like she had to hide anything from me, and she began to open up about everything. Kat told me that she had been homeless for over a year. She grew up in a broken home after her dad passed away in Iraq when she was a kid back in 2006. Her mother fell into alcoholism and had pretty much blown whatever savings she had from the death gratuity she received and basically lived paycheck to paycheck. Despite this, her faith with the church was the only real thing that gave her stability and hope to carry on with her daily life. At 18, she joined the Marines because she wanted to honor her father and escape the life she had grown up with. Although, she ended up getting ELST, entry-level separation, and was chaptered out of the USMC due to her developing asthma while in basic. She ended up moving to our current city on the East Coast because she didn't want to return to California where her mother was. Kat ended up barely scraping by to where she saved up to buy her older car to sleep in away from the shelters around December of last year. Kat ended up sharing to me that she was on the verge of suicide around the time I met her and wanted to play up like she didn't have baggage, and elaborated on how she didn't want to scare me off by admitting she was homeless. So she had me drop her off at the one apartment building and split the tab of our dates to appear like everything was normal. Truthfully, I felt gutted hearing her story. I had a feeling that things were probably bad for her, but I didn't think it was that bad. Kat showed me her DD 214. I'm currently an E5 in the Army Reserve, so I knew that her story was verifiable, as well as the picture she had of her past. I told her that I wanted to help her out in any way, and that I was open to having her move to my place with the added kicker that we could go to IKEA to get her a bed set to make my living room into her living space, since I wanted to respect her physical boundaries that was in place from her Catholic faith. Kat was very hesitant because of her pride, and she didn't want to come off like she was accepting a handout due to pity, but I reassured her that it wasn't with a handout or come with a catch. I told Kat that I loved her, first time I said that, and wanted to help her feel secure. She looked at me with a sort of disbelief and asked me if I really meant it, and I did. Kat reciprocated by saying that she loved me too and accepted. As far as the conditions go, I told her to meet me at 30% of the rent, and to put whatever money she had into starting summer classes at the local community college, and that she could stay with me for as long as she wanted if she felt comfortable with premarital cohabitation. Alas, thanks for the advice on everything. Our convo was a long one and took a lot emotionally from Kat, so she is currently crashing at my couch until she wakes up, so we can get her bed at IKEA later tonight. Once again, thank you for giving advice, as it really allowed me to vent on what was going on.